Смелая песня. Что ничего не начал, это важно.
Вообще будет что-нибудь, нет, сегодня? Время тоже, 18:03. А? Ну ладно. Может, проверим пока инструменты. Prabhu, can you try Mridanga microphones? Sound check. Check sound. Дурацкий микрофон.
In the morning it's fruit salad. Lunchtime I'll eat some, who knows what's happening.
It's clever.
But I feel good. Feel very good. And it's a great change. Okay, Haribol. Hari Hari. Okay. There's something going on. You need to turn that off, and then we can begin. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. Hey, Haribo. Tonight we shall begin with glorifying Nityananda Prabhu. Nitai Gunamani by Lochandas Thakur. And we begin it in Dotal and then we go into Tintal. Haribo. Nitai Gunamani Ama Nitai Gunamani. Alright? Nitai Gunamani Ama Nitai Gunamani Maniyama Nitai Gunamani Amiya Premera Banya Basailo Yabani Amya Primera Banya. Hey, everyone should chant loudly. No talking. Nitai Gunamani Ama Nitai Gunamani Nitai Gunamani Ama Nitai Gunamani Aniya Primera Banya Basailo Yabani. Come on. Amiya Primera Banya Basailo Yabani. Premier Banya Loyanitai Aila Gora Deshe Premier Banya Loyanitai Aila Gora Deshe Bilo Bhakatagonam Dina Hinabashe Bhatagana Dina Hinobashe Dina Hina Patita Paak Maranahi Bache Dina Hina Patita Paak Maranahi Bache Brahmara Durlabha Prema Yen Saka Bhare Jache Saba Bhare Jache Brahmara Durlabha Prema Saba Bhare Jache Saba Kore Jache Abada Karuna Sindhu Athiya Mohan Abada Karuna Sindhu Athiya Mohan Gore Gore Bule Prem Ami Arban Gore Gore Bule Prem Ami Arban Lochan Bole Mor Nitai Jebana Bajilo Lochan Bole Mor Nitai Jebana Bajilo Janiya Suniya Sei Atmagata Hoilo Janiya Suniya Sei Atmagata Hoilo Dayal Nita Dayal Nita Dayal Nita Dayal Nita Hari Bol. Thank you all. So this is a beautiful song, wonderful song by Lochan Das Thakur. Lochan Das Thakur wrote many wonderful songs glorifying specifically Lord Nityananda. Also he glorified Lord Chaitanya. We all know, or have heard, Parama Karuna, that's also by Lochan Das Thakur. So, in this song he says, my Lord Nityananda is the jewel of all good qualities or virtues. He says, he repeats this, and I noted that he refers to it as my Nitai. This minus, devotees, elevated or they'll speak like that. My Krishna. Krishna is mine and I am Krishna's. In the material world we use this minus towards things and also people. This is my house, my car, my bank balance, all my. But the devotee, Vaishnava, this my Nitai, my Krishna. So he said he is a jewel of all good qualities. In another song by Lochandas Thakur, Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Rai says, my Nitai, he never gets angry. He never gets angry. Even when someone bashed his head in with a clay pot and draw blood, he didn't get angry. Rather, Lord Chaitanya was going to kill Madai for doing that, and Lord Nityananda was begging him, no my Lord, don't kill him. If you kill him, you're going to have to kill a lot of people. In Kali Yuga, people what does Bhagavatam say? Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya rupajaya. They're slow, especially for spiritual life. They're always disturbed. So, and as Kali Yuga progresses, we will see, I mean, it's only been 5,000 years and it's already so bad. Previously, people couldn't imagine what is happening now, today. Here in India, Bharat, Varsha, they're killing so many cows. I think I read somewhere that they're like number 2 in the world for cow slaughter. And this is the land of where the previous teachers, acharyas, have taught that the cow is one of our 7 mothers. A human being is said to have 7 mothers. But actually this cow killing business started when Srila Prabhupada was still here. And under the rule of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she made to have slaughterhouse, and when Prabhupada was told about it, he said, if there was just one real Kshatriya here in India, he would go and cut off her head for allowing that and legalizing it. So now it's everywhere. You know? How could she do that? But Kali Yuga is progressing. In America they killed so many. I think America is the leading one. Not only that, how many babies are killed? Babies, abortion. Babies are killed and the governments are sponsoring it. They're paying for it. Making it easy for them to do. So these are horrible acts. sinful activities, and by the leaders. So, and it's going to get worse. I can't imagine how worse it can get. But actually Bhagavatam gives some hints. So, he said about Nityananda, Lochandas Thakur says, he brought the flood of ecstatic love of God that has drowned the entire world. Bringing this overwhelming deluge of prema when he returned to Bengal from Jagannath Puri on Lord Chaitanya's order. All the devotees wanted to be with Mahaprabhu in Puri. Many of the devotees from Bengal. Nityananda was one of them. Who wouldn't want to be around Lord Chaitanya, you know? But one day Lord Chaitanya told Nitai, if you stay here with me, then who will preach to the people in Bengal? See, Lord Chaitanya was always thinking of giving out Krishna consciousness. He came for that purpose. So he said, so therefore Nitai, I think you should go back to Bengal. Go to Bengal. And he also told them, and one more thing, you should get married when you go back. And Nityananda was thinking, you took sannyas, you gave up your wife, and now you're telling me to get married? But whatever you say, I will do. And he came back to Bengal and he got married. The two sisters, Janavi Mata and her younger sister, Vasudha. And Mahaprabhu told him, I will appear in your family. And we are told that Vasudha had a son, Birachandra. And people thought, he's so much like Mahaprabhu. He's a big preacher. So, Nitai came back to Bengal, and first he inundated the assembly of devotees in this flood of love of Godhead. And the fallen non-devotees, they did not drown in that flood, but they remained floating on that ecstatic ocean. Lord Nityananda freely distributed this exalted prema, which is difficult for Lord Brahma to attain. Right? It's difficult. We don't know how lucky we are. And he was giving this, Nityananda was offering this to the most fallen and wretched souls like us, who did not desire it. I say like us because Prabhupada was so much in the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. His preaching campaign was like that, going everywhere where people didn't know anything, they'd never heard the name Krishna. There's no temple, there's nothing. And he accomplished so much in such a short space of time. In fact, one of Prabhupada's godbrothers and friend, he said, when I study his preaching, he must be, he cannot but be a Shaktavesha avatar. He was the first person to say that. No one in ISKCON would have even thought of that at the time, right after Prabhupada's passing. And when he said, I think he's a Shaktavesha avatar, he must be. His leading disciple, and who became his successor, Govinda Maharaj, asked, Guru Maharaj, you said that he was a Shaktavesha avatar? He said, yes. He said, what kind of Avesh? And he thought for a second, he said, Nityananda Avesh. So Nityananda, all his he established worship of Gaura Nityananda all around the world. Bhaktisiddhanta didn't do that. He had Gaura, Radha, Krishna, Gaura, Radha, Madhava. But Prabhupada did that, and he also established Krishna Balaram, which was like one of his crowning achievements, opening that temple in Vrindavan. And he's taught that worshipping Krishna and Balaram is not different from worshipping Gaura Nityananda. So, he was given it to the most fallen, wretched, who didn't even want it. They said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, give it out to those who wanted, and Nityananda, give it out to those who didn't want it. The ocean of mercy, which had formerly been sealed tight, Nitai cut a channel in its boundary to allow the great flooding of waves of nectarian prem to splash everywhere from house to house. These, what do you call them? Acharyas, they're all kavis, all poets. So Lochan Das Thakur concludes, says, whoever has not worshipped my Nitai or taken advantage of this excellent opportunity offered by him, such a person is knowingly committing suicide. Haribol. Now something about Lord Chaitanya. Avatar Sar, Gaura Avatar, also by Lochan Das Thakur. Avatara Sar, S-A-R-A. What did you say?
Don't worry, he's fighting for the gong.
Huh?
He's fighting for the gong.
Oh, he's fighting for the gong.
Things I play too loud.
Well, don't bang on the gong. Play it sweetly. I like the gong too. Avatar Sar, Gaura Avatar, Kinuna Bojili Tare. Avatar Sar, Gaura Avatar, Kinuna Bojili Tare. Avatar Sar, Gaura Avatar, Kinuna Bojili Tare. হরিণীরে বাস গেল না পিয়াস হরিণীর বাস হরিণীরে বাস গেল না পিয়াস আপন করম ফেরে ও আপন করম ফেরে অবতার সা গোড়ায় বতা কেন না বজিলি তারে কণ্ঠাখের থারু সদা সেবিলি অমৃত পাইবার আসে কণ্ঠাখের থারু সদাই সেবিলি অমৃত পাইবার আসে প্রেমে কল্পতরু শ্রী গৌরাঙ্গ আমার প্রেম কল্পতরু শ্রী গৌরাঙ্গ আমার তাহারে বাগিলি বিনে তাহার বাবিলি বিনে ও অবতার সা গোড়ায় অবতার কেন না বজিলি তারে সৌরভের আসে পলাশ শিখিলি নাশতে ফসিল কীট সৌরভের আসে পলাশ শিখিলি নাশতে ফাসিল কীট ইক্ষু দণ্ড বাবি কথা কুশিলি ইক্ষু দণ্ড বাবি কথা কুশিলি এমনে পাইব মিতা এমনে পাইবি মিতা ও অবতার সা গোড়ায় অবতার কেন না বলিলি তারে হার বলিয়া গলায় পারিলি সামন কিঙ্কর সাপ হার বলিয়া গলায় পড়িলি সামন কিঙ্কর সাপ শ্রী Shitala Balya Aguna Pohali Shitala Balya Aguna Pohali Aili Bhajaratapo O Paili Bhajaratapo O Bhatarasa Guraya Bhata Inonabodi Tare Sangsara Bajili Sri Goranga Bulili Nashunili Sadura Kota Nashunili Sadura Kota Sangsara Bajili Sri Goranga Bulili Nasunili Sadur Kota Iha para kala dukhala koyali Iha para kala dukhala koyali Kalili apono mato Akaili apono mato Obotaro sa Guraya botara Kinunabodi tare Botara sa Guraya botara Inonabodi tare Inonabodi tare Avatar Sar Avatar. Translation. Lutsandas Thakur, he's addressing his mind. There are many songs where the devotees address their mind, like Bhajahurya Mana, Srinandanandana, the famous one. So he says, my dear mind, oh my dear, why don't you worship Sri Gaura Sundara, the crown jewel of all incarnations? Avatarasa, he's the best. There are many incarnations, unlimited. We may know of a few of them. Jayadev Goswami lists 10 of them and 12, Dasavatar, Stotram. So, but Prabhupada has said that there are as many waves in the ocean which you cannot count. Similarly, there are that many incarnations, unlimited. So he said, my dear mind, why do you stay away? Why you always stay in water, but your thirst is never satiated due to your own past bad activities. You always hope to attain sweet, juicy fruits from your worship of thorny trees. But this is not possible. Our Gaur Sundar is a desire tree, Preme Kalpataru, he's offering you divine love. But you left him thinking him to be poison. You stay away, you don't... In another song, Nitai Pada Kamala, by Narottam Das Thakur, he says, Asatyare Satya Korimani. You accept false things as truth, and you reject the real truth when it's presented to you. This is our unfortunate position. Asatyare Satya Korimani. So he said, you neglect, you stay away from the worship of Lord Chaitanya, and you get absorbed in so many other things. This material world, there's so many things to distract you. My dear mind, he says, you are searching for some sweet aroma. And so you smell the beautiful palasa flower. But this flower has no scent. It's a pretty flower, but no scent. There are several flowers like that. They're very pretty, good for decoration, but you just try to smell it, no scent. He said, and instead, an insect from that flower enters your nose. You get stung by an insect. You suck on dry wood, mistaking it for sugar cane. But you don't get any sweet juice. Oh my dear mind, that death is like a snake which you put around your neck, thinking it to be a garland. You enter into fire, thinking it to be cool, and therefore you suffer excruciating burning. One time Prabhupada was in America and he saw a billboard. I remember when I came to America in 1970, in those days there were billboards everywhere advertising cigarettes. You can't imagine it now. They can't do that anymore. Cigarette smoking was so rampant, even in restaurants. People would be sitting down eating with a cigarette burning. In between bites, they'd toughen. It sounds crazy, but that was vogue. You went to the movies. I remember going to the movies because I got caught up in smoking cigarettes too. And then I realized this is not good for me. I tried to give it up. But it was difficult because wherever you went, people were smoking. I remember going to a movie once and I was like, I had made it through about 5 days with no cigarettes. And then Saturday I went to the movies. And somebody in front of me is smoking and all the smoke is coming in my face. I had to go outside and buy some. This is how it was difficult. And I used to tell people, make a joke, I would say, it's very easy to give up smoking. I've done it hundreds of times. Because it was all around, it was everywhere. In an airplane, That was so ridiculous. They would ask you at the counter, do you want smoking or non-smoking section? And I remember saying, non-smoking please. And they'd put you in the back. But all the people in the front are smoking cigarettes and it all came to the back. This is how ridiculous things were. So he says, oh my dear mind, enjoying or trying to enjoy material pleasures, you never heeded, you never listened to the words of the devotees. And so you forgot Lord Gaurasundar. Thus, both in this world and in the next, you are lost. Avatara Sara. Parama Karuna. Parama Karuna is also by Lochandas Thakur. Here he glorifies the two lords. Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana. Dvi means two. We can do this one in Teen Tal. Everyone got it? Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Let's go a little lower. I think it's too high. Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Vijana Nitai Gaura Chandra Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Has a mind of its own. Saboy avatar Saroshiromani Kebalayananda Panda Saboy avatar Saroshiromani Kebalayananda Panda Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Caitanya-charitamrita Suridha Vishwasa Kari Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Caitanya-charitamrita Suridha Vishwasa Kari Caitanya-charitamrita sirase mojiya mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Caitanya-charita sirase mojiya mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Dekho yore bai tribhubane nai emon doyal data. Dekho yore bai tribhubane nai emon doyal data. Pashu pakhi jure ashana bidare shuni jaro gunagata. Pashu pakhi jure ashana bidare shuni jaro gunagata. Samsare mojiya rohili podiya se pade nahilo asha. Samsare mojiya rohili podiya se pade nahilo asha. Apana karama bunjaye shamana kahaye lochana dasa. Apana karama bunjaye shamana kahaye lochana dasa. Karama karuna kahu dvijana nitai Gaurachandra. Karama karuna kahu dvijana nitai Gaurachandra. Nitai Gaurachandra. So, Parama Karuna Pahudvijana Nitai Gaurachandra. These two lords, Nitai and Gaurachandra, he says they are the essence of all incarnation. Sarva avatar sar shiromani. Sar, this is the same word was in avatara sar. That means they're the best. Both of them. He says the specific significance of these two incarnations is that they introduced a process of chanting and dancing that is Kevala Ananda Kanda, simply joyful. Once Prabhupada was asked, I told before, that some reporter asked him, Swamiji, what do your devotees do for recreation? And Prabhupada smiled and says, what do you mean? Everything we do is recreational. It's Kevala Ananda Kanda. So joyfully performed, chanting, dancing, and feasting. People can't imagine the nice prasadam that devotees experience. You can't get it anywhere else. When I was in Laguna Beach as temple president, I was there for like 10 years. And we'd have Sunday feasts like in all the ISKCON temples. And when I used to instruct the devotees that I don't want to see two devotees sitting together chatting. I said, you have to get in between the guests. There should be a guest on either side of you, and you talk to them. Befriend them, make friends with them, so they'll want to keep coming back. We used to have so many people coming, almost 300 people on Sunday, because the devotees would meet them on Sankirtan and invite them to come to the temple. So I said, we're inviting these people to come, and if they come and you ignore them and you go up and in a little group and sit and enjoy the feast, that's bad. So I was sitting in between two people one day, Sunday, and this man said to me, he says, a young man, but he was older than me at the time, he says, can I tell you something? I said, sure, you can tell me anything. He said, but I don't want you to get mad. And I said, immediately I became a little, what is he going to tell me? I said, I won't get mad. It's difficult for me to get mad. So he said, okay. What I want to say is that, he said, I think your leaders in this movement have no brains. When he said that, I swallowed and I said, okay. Now tell me why you've arrived at this conclusion. And he said, okay. He says, I travel a lot. I travel around the country. I'm in America. And wherever I go to a city, I always look to see if there's a Hare Krishna temple or a restaurant, something, because I'm addicted to your food. So I smiled. He's telling me this, and I said, I want to see where's he going with this. He said, so I think, you people, you devotees, you know some secrets about preparing, food, vegetarian food especially, that other people, other restaurants, other people, they don't know. Because the taste, I don't know what it is you all do, but it's so good. So he was glorifying prasadam. I was happy. He said, in fact, I think your movement could be a dominant force. This was his exact words. Your movement could be a dominant force in the food industry. Anybody disagree with that? He said, you could be, he said, just like the Chinese people, Haribo, wherever they go, they open restaurants. There's Chinese restaurants all over the place. In my country, in Trinidad, there's probably a Chinese restaurant in every town. What to speak of around the world. And, so he said, but you people, you devotees, you know something. You have some some special thing that I'll go out of my way to eat your food. He said, so I think you could be a dominant force in the food industry. But instead of doing that, I see your devotees are out selling all kinds of trinkets and little things. In those days, we were going from one paraphernalia to another. Really? Practically, we had abandoned distributing books. Our focus was on getting money. Yeah. I mean, we sold stickers, buttons, pins, candles, flowers, paintings. Records, yeah. We were doing, and it's not that we were selling devotional records. Please, let me inform you. Some smart devotee had found out that there are warehouses situated across the country that are filled, warehouses, with records that are not moving. They won't sell. Many people, artists, they make records and they print so much thinking it's going to be big, and it's a flop. And what do they do with it? They're in warehouses, sitting there and not doing anything. And this devotee thought, maybe we could get those cheap. And in those days, to buy a record, a big album, vinyl records, in a store, you'd have to pay anywhere from $5 to $10. So this devotee approached one of these warehouses and said, if I agree to take a lot of those, how much would you give it to me? So the guy says, how much do you want? He said, a few hundred, maybe more, maybe a few thousand. He said, oh, well, if you're going to buy like that, I'll give you them for like 5 cents a piece. So that became a craze. Devotees in America were buying these records, and just non-devotional records, and selling them, and they would get, they were asking for donations, and the idea is people would, when they see a record, they'd easily give you $5, $10. So the man said, I've seen you all. You're in the airports. You're everywhere selling stuff. When you could have been doing restaurants. He said, and he concluded, therefore I say your leaders have no brains. I couldn't argue with the man, because I also thought, why are we doing these things? That's when I became determined to get into the restaurant business. And for 24 years, I opened 4 different restaurants in America. And they were all successful. I became, after the first one, I was confident I could go to any city and open a restaurant and even though I didn't know the town or city, it would be successful. It was as if people were waiting there for us to do it. And actually Prabhupada had encouraged it. He had encouraged it. He even said, one time he said, I think we have enough temples. We don't need to open any more temples. He said we should boil the milk. This was one of Prabhupada's famous statements, boil the milk. You know what boil the milk means, Madhavananda? Tell us.
Make it thick and sweet.
Yeah. He said, let's make our devotees stronger. Get them to study the books and so on, and get them strong, because it was a fact that people were joining, coming in one door and leaving out the other door. So he said, instead of doing open temple, he said, Prabhupada said this, you should open restaurants. And he said like the Christians have reading rooms. There's Christian, in America at least, these are the Christian Science reading rooms. There was one in Laguna Beach. I don't know how many people went in there. He said, but we have books. What do they have? We have real books with real knowledge coming down through parampara. We have something really substantial to give people. You know? That's why he said, that's why I was pushing this, to distribute books. We're not just begging, we're giving them something valuable. If they read these books, he said all kinds of things. He would say, if they read one line, one word, he even said, if they just touch the books, they will be benefited. So Prabhupada had that faith in doing this. So he said, if you open restaurants, he said, and people will become satisfied, and also they'll become indebted to you because you've satisfied them. When you satisfy them, they will say, what can I do for you? I experienced that when I was in the restaurant business. If I needed any work done, any kind of work, electrical work, carpentry, I couldn't do any of those things. I never had any skill to do anything. But I would ask my customers. I would say, what do you do? I said, what do you mean? I said, what is your line of occupation? And they would tell me. I said, I need help. I just asked them. I need some, you know, and they would be glad to do it. They said, sure. Just tell me when to come. And I wouldn't pay them. They were so satisfied with the prasadam. It's like this man who was telling me that he would go out of his way to eat prasadam. Prabhupada even once said, this is our secret weapon. Practically all devotees came partly because of prasadam. Right? So, Kevala Ananda Kondo. And then he says, Lord Chandas Thakur says, my dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has only to give up his engagement in sense gratification. That's all. And then one simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, without any motive. So he continues, my dear brothers, just examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts would cry. It's time. Stones would melt, and then it's confirmed. In the pastime of the Jharikanda forest, Lord Chaitanya went and he was getting wild animals, even animals that are normally inimical to one another, were chanting. And Prabhupada commented that Lord Chaitanya could do that because he is God. He said, so we cannot get the animals to chant. He said, but Pashupaki Jure, we can get the two-legged animals to chant. That we can do. And then he concludes, he said, he's lamenting. He's lamenting now. He said, but Lochandas regrets that I am so entrapped by sense gratification. He is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Such a nice thing, a nice movement, most wonderful movement. So, as devotees, members of the Krishna consciousness movement, it is our duty to try to give Krishna consciousness to people. The majority of the world, 99% practically, don't know anything. They have no knowledge. They don't believe in the next life. They don't know anything. There's so many universities in the world. They're going to college, they have come out with degrees, but they know nothing of the self. So, it's like, it may seem daunting, so many people, but if we make the effort, Lord Chaitanya will be so pleased that you are making an effort on his behalf that he will be merciful to you, because he wants this to happen. Samaragya Guru Hoy Taraye Desh. And he says, every town and village, this must be done, this must be distributed. One person, Srila Prabhupada, left India and came out, and we are all results of that, of his endeavors. If we feel that we've gotten something from this movement, from Prabhupada's mercy, then our duty is to give it out to others. Okay? That's my cue when the Muslims start chanting. It's time for us to say good night. Thank you all. Of course, we can chant Hare Krishna for 5 minutes.
Yes.
5 more minutes, Prabhu. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol. Oh, thank you all again for coming to chant with us. Today is Ekadashi. I know. It's Tuesday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, it'll be in the morning at 6. Yeah. 9 o'clock, sorry. See, that's why I need Nitai. 9 o'clock. And then Thursday we'll be back in the evening at 6 o'clock. Okay?
Yes.
Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Is there a better way to spend our evening? I can't think of anything better.
So sweet deities.
Всего еще 4 человека есть. Смотрит на божественное. Четверг вечером, завтра утром рано. Ну, как рано, 9 часов утра. Утренняя программа. Сейчас, по-моему, да. Ну, в смысле, приветствие. Ну, вот так. Вот так вот здесь, да. Я не знаю, как зачем, может быть, странно стало. Подгаджанный происходит. Подгаджанный Прабhu завтра дает лекцию. Да, вот все. Даже я всегда, как всегда, 8. Tomorrow, Caitanya Prabhu will give class in XCS. Caitanya Prabhu will tomorrow will give class in XCS.
On Saturday, 10 days. When you avoid this, please on Sunday. Now,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Haribo.